Championships, the women's champs, everything's on the line. Talk to us about the top 4 teams.
Absolutely. Well, so it's going to be a barn burner right to the very end here. We've got kind of a dream scenario between 2 Ivy League schools. Yale and Dartmouth are locked in a bare knuckle brawl for the championship. So Yale is 4 points ahead right now. If you want to check the scores, they're go on scores.collegesailing.org. You can get live updates on there. But Yale and Dartmouth, in my opinion, after just watching the racing this morning and yesterday, they're clearly the best 2 teams, head and shoulders above the rest, and it's just a matter of who's going to really perform in these last couple races.
Of course, they've been launched out in front, and in 3rd and 4th, who do we have, Nick?
We have the Naval Academy, home team. They've been kind of locked in 3rd for most of the event, a little bit behind the 2 leaders, but well ahead of the next guys. In 4th, I think it's been changing a lot.
Yeah, it has. Let me look real quick. It was Navy, and then
we're getting live updates on the live show.
Yeah, there we go. Yes, MIT. Yeah, MIT actually is creeping up on Navy. Navy's got 188 points, and MIT has 203. So they're about 15 points back, but in the course of 4 or 5 races here this afternoon, that could easily be a race. So Navy's got to stay sharp. Navy's probably too far back now on the front 2 teams. Yale and Dartmouth are a full 40 to 50 points clear on Navy there. So Navy's just got to worry about keeping 3rd, I think, at this point. I think chasing the top 2 is not in their capability at this point.
So we have a nice, bright, sunny day here for the final afternoon of racing. We're coming up to the top mark here in race number 14. And this is the A fleet happening behind us. And we're going to go now and show you some of the action that's happening out on the course. And let's see who's out in front.
Looks like the right's coming into me. You can see Dartmouth there in boat 11, just tacked over to port.
In a pretty safe position, I'd say. Not winning, but they're going to get around the top marks. At least right now, it looks like they're going to get around the top marks in a nice conservative position.
Now, meanwhile, we've got Yale is just off to our left here, only about 5 boat lengths from where we're sitting. And they are, they're in the mix here, but Dartmouth's got a good 10, 15 boat length lead. So early advantage to the big green.
Well, when you face it.
Okay, it's got to face this way. So looking pretty good for the big green so far here in this race. But the stories so far, I don't know if it's good to just keep talking, but basically Dartmouth's A division is killing it. They're winning A division by I think about 20 points at this point. So they're carrying the team. A division for Dartmouth, Deirdre and Avery carrying the team. B division for Yale is carrying the Yale team. So it's kind of a battle to see which of those boats in the 2 different divisions can do the best this afternoon. There's a lot of pressure on those boats, and we'll see in the B fleet if Yale is able to match the strong performance here from Dartmouth's A.
And so what do you think? The right definitely is the play here, and we have some of the top teams battling it out here in the right-hand corner, left-hand corner.
Yeah, early advantage to the right side here, for sure. The breeze is a whole lot steadier than it was earlier, so the fleet is much more condensed, and we're seeing a lot more boats kind of battling just to keep a clear lane, whereas earlier today it was much more about sailing your own race and kind of banging a corner to get to pressure. This is a lot more about boat speed and good lane management, good tactics.
I think we still have some what is now uphill current, so a lot of people getting pushed out to this left side, and lanes definitely hard to come by here on port, which is going to help Dartmouth, I believe. We still kind of bow forward on people.
Yeah, this is tight competition. These are the best girls in the country. The new semifinal format has been awesome because, the first 2 days of the regatta were 2 regattas of 14 teams. So, and the top 9 from each of those 14 moved forward. So, about 12 teams got eliminated in those first 2 days, and those bottom 12 teams, probably weren't going to be fast enough to compete in this fleet. And so now this is the top 18 in the country. There's definitely no slow boats out here, and we're seeing very tight racing because of that. You can see Dartmouth there in boat 11 looks to be in about 3rd or 4th place. And then out in front there, we got boat 14, looking like Bowdoin maybe?
Yeah.
And they've had quite a good regatta, actually.
They really have. Yeah, Bowdoin's a strong program right now. I believe they're doing really well in B division, is that right?
I think A division was for a while in 4th. They're led by sophomore skipper in that division.
All right, here comes Deirdre and Avery in boat 11 there, rounding in 2nd place for Dartmouth, so that's strong. It looks like Yale is back in about 13th or 14th.
Look how tight this rounding is.
12.
Going to have the bulk of the fleet here around in a 20-second span.
Oh yeah, it's crowded right there. Boat 6 trying to thread the needle.
MIT rounding in 3rd, also having a really good event. For a long while, their B division was really strong, fighting for the top spot in B division, but now we can see here A division having a strong race, going to help them overall.
John, talk a little bit about Erica Reinecke. We see here at boat 7.
Yeah.
How's her regatta going?
You know, for Boston College, I think they had probably the highest expectations. You know, they're coming to these regattas for the win, and Erica is a former world champion, youth champion, and everything in the laser radial class, Olympic hopeful. They're just not having the best regatta overall, and I mean that's nothing against them. It's a very tough fleet, but they're currently in 10th place in a very tight pack of teams. So I'm sure they wish they were doing a little better, but they can keep battling this afternoon and maybe move up.
Okay, we're back live. Nick, tell us what's coming in. We're coming into the finish here of the race 14.
Yeah, Dartmouth's just really put the pieces together for the 2nd beat and for this downwind. Quickly figuring out the course, quite obviously, as they're going to win, get the win by over 100 yards. Meanwhile, Yale in 12th, pretty deep, probably bottom 5. So just with this race alone, we're probably going to see a lead change based on what we're seeing in B division as well.
Pretty impressive what the Dartmouth A division's managing to do here. They're putting a lot of bullets on the floor, and really they're doing it by like a distance as well. I mean, they're winning this race by a good 20, 30 seconds. So pretty impressive by these two.
Probably.
Very consistent sailing up front. As we come down, who's finishing now?
Looks like Hobart, or I should say Hobart and William Smith in boat 2 there, and then Hawaii in boat 8. That'll be 2nd and 3rd place in this race.
So again, the middle of the pack of the fleet really battling it out, and we might see some people move up a place or two here.
Yeah, we'll see lots of leapfrogging here in the last couple races. It's just so tight in the middle. And a couple good races in both divisions will move you up, and that's the name of the game. It is a team sport, and in order to do really well at these events, you need 2 solid divisions.
Nice to see the Hawaii and the William Smith girls congratulating each other on a nice race, giving a little high five between the skipper and crew in Hawaii. It's good to see that kind of good team chemistry at the end of a regatta, because you can still make a lot of moves right now. Looks like 4th place was Stanford, followed by Coast Guard in 5th.
Of course, if you're just joining us, we had a little bit of technical difficulty there on the first race, but we seem to be back now on air. Thanks for joining us. And this is the finish of the 14th race here, the final day of the Women's National Collegiate Sailing Championships here in Annapolis, Maryland.
So it looks like Yale is our overall leader. They're ahead by 4 points right now, but they are just finishing in this race. And Dartmouth was only 4 points behind. So it looks like Yale is getting a 15th, 14th. So that's a huge gain for the Dartmouth Big Green. But don't forget, in B Division, Yale has kind of their ace in the hole. Their B Division team is killing it, and I believe is in 3rd place in the B race. So Yale is definitely not slipping too fast. They will keep fighting.
Of course, Morgan looking a little like maybe she's feeling the pressure there with that finish.
Yeah, I think they just didn't get off the line very well, and the racing has changed completely from this morning. This morning it was very shifty, fluky, and weird. Now it's a little more consistent. You have to have good boat speed and good lane management. It's not as much about doing really drastic moves.
Yeah, it looked like in that first beat they were just having a tough time getting their own lane and being able to sail their own race, kind of getting bounced around with some of their competitors. I think Morgan tends to get off the line really well and can use their boat speed. Usually a pretty aggressive starter, and didn't quite pan out that last race for her.
Of course, Nick, you and I were talking yesterday that this may be one of the most competitive women fleet in a very long time.
Yeah, I mean, we just saw it there. University of Hawaii scores a third place in that last race, and they're in last place in this regatta. So, you know, they got here for a reason, and we're just seeing the depth really show through in the new format.
That's always nice when it's a competitive fleet, and of course with the new format, it does take a little bit more endurance and concentration, don't you think, John?
Yeah, it's a 4-day regatta, and it really is going to reward experience and confidence and the people who can stay relaxed. And I probably am going to talk way too much about Dartmouth's A Division, but I'm just really impressed by how ice cold they are. You know, they're just performing when they need to. They're not making a big deal out of it, and it's pretty impressive. So. Also, I believe, just to note, I think B Division is now a full race behind. So I think this is actually race 13B. So I'll be curious to see whether the race committee holds A Division for a little while and gets B Division through another race to kind of even it out. Because it's kind of always a little awkward at the end of a regatta when one fleet has 2 races to go and the other fleet's done. So we'll see what they do.
And that can always make for a kind of pressure-filled situation where you might know the scores with 2 races to go, and you know, with our 2 leaders way out in front, you could see some match racing situation trying to get points on each other.
We've had a little bit of everything down here for weather this week. The first couple of days were hot, not a lot of wind, and of course yesterday it was a wet, overcast day out here.
Yeah, that looked really wet and cold yesterday. I'm glad that today was my first day here.
Yeah, you brought the sun, John.
Yeah, hey, I'll do my best.
The race committee's been doing a great job. They have Gary Bodie here running the races, former coach here. He's seen every condition here. So we saw, especially in the semifinals, no 2 races were really the same. Racetracks, you know, at this area here off the point, up in the river, further up the river, really were. You know, chasing the breeze around, and they did a great job.
Of course, the B fleet is now coming down to the finish. Do we know who's out in front here and leads the way?
Let's see. That's boat number 4. Let's get the binos out. That's ODU in first there, followed by Coast Guard, and then I believe the Yale Elis are in third.
So that's going to help them out. That's going to keep Yale in the hunt with a good finish here in the B fleet.
It looks like it. Yeah, it looks like Yale's in third here. I'd say Dartmouth is probably 7th or 8th. They're in boat 11. So definitely, I mean, this battle is not going to be over till the very end. There's also an interesting moment just behind us a second ago. We missed it on camera, but this is the rotation where Dartmouth and Yale exchange boats. Nice. So they just sailed up next to each other, and you know, I think they gave each other a little knowing look, a little smile, but certainly they're locked in a battle here for this championship, and it's pretty exciting to watch.
Looks like a little left phase here. We got most of the fleet, if not the whole fleet, on starboard coming in. So not huge passing lanes in the last here in the last lap. So you're not going to see many ups and downs here in the last little bit.
Yeah, I'm glad to see a little change in the conditions, honestly, because I think it's going to test the versatility of the sailors. They need to adapt now after a very challenging, confusing morning to come back to basics. This is just classic light air sailing, a little bit of chop. You just have to be fast, you have to be patient, and it helps to go the right way. Sorry.
It looks like the difference between Yale and Dartmouth is less in this division. So I would say after this finish, we're going to see pretty much a tie ball game.
Yep, agreed. Yale was up by 4 points. I believe looks like Yale got third here, and Dartmouth's going to get,
We're making a charge here on the inside.
yeah, maybe just 5th or 6th there. So
how does this stand for Navy and MIT battling it out there? And
oh yeah, here we have Navy getting a 5th there. Where is MIT? I think Navy's they're doing what they need to do to keep that 3rd place. They're doing a nice job. They're 2 very experienced skippers, Mary Hall and Marissa Lehan. So they know what to do. They're just going to do their thing.
Really even in the divisions. They're both, battling in that 3-4 range in each of their division, and that will put you square in.
So it's off right now. We've got racing all the way till 5 is the cutoff time. So 2 more hours of action. A lot could happen in 2 hours. A whole lot.
A lot can happen here with a building breeze. It's nice to have the wind finally fill in here today on the final day of racing at the championships. And let's check in with Rebecca Dellenbar to find out what is happening here with the finish of the blue race with the B fleet. Of course, technology is struggling here. We don't have a connection with Rebecca. Hey there, Rebecca.
Hi, Dan. We just saw a great finish from ODU and Coast Guard in that race. And especially the A division finish, very tight racing. I think we're seeing a lot of high tensions here and a lot of boats, trying really hard to pick off that one more boat at the finish.
It looked like it was a pretty competitive race. And you think there's any big winners or losers out of that fleet?
Well, looking at the top of the leaderboard, Yale had a great B division race, and Dartmouth also had a solid race with a 6th place finish.
Sounds good, Becca. We're going to go into sequence here for the start of the A division, and we'll check back to you for the start of the B division in a little bit.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so you're seeing quick turnaround. Looks like the pace is getting set a little bit higher from the race committee. A division, having just a couple minutes to chat with their coaches and right back in it. That's the nature of college sailing, lots of races, and with this new breeze, looks like we could complete the rotation, get full 18 races perhaps. It's not pretty close.
Yeah, that's 4 races to go, I think, for A division here. So that's definitely doable with 2 hours left. B division is a little further behind, but this will be their 14th race. So the pressure probably will come on B division towards the end. The deck is kind of stacked a little bit in the favor, and that's going to favor Yale. Nothing against the Dartmouth B division, but the Yale B division is really talented. So they're gonna probably have a little advantage there.
So, of course, both of you are coaches of college sailing. What do you think the coaches are saying at this point to some of those top 5 teams?
That's a tough one. Sometimes you don't really go into a lot of detail on the points because it can be a distraction. I think if you have more experienced players who have been here before and they know what the pressure's like, you can afford to tell them what the points are and what they need to do. Maybe with some of the younger players, you might consider just telling them to go out and have a great race and keep an eye on one other team that you're close with. If I were coaching Navy, for example, I would say, go out there, have a great race. Keep an eye, just be aware of where MIT is because they're the next team behind us. But go out there, sail your own race, and go for the win.
Well, let's turn the camera now towards the start, and you guys can tell us what you see here at the start of the second race, the 15th race of the A division here at the College Women's National Championships.
I think we have, was that a minute to go there? Or?
It was a minute and a half, I believe.
Oh, a minute 30? There we go. There's the 1 minute horn. So boats are just setting up here, sizing up the starting line, seeing where the crowds are, and looking to just get a nice clean start. With the new conditions here, the start is really important.
And here we go. We got Yale looking to be a player here at the pin. Looks to be pretty unchallenged. As I said, some observations from some of the other coaches. We often see Morgan down here at the pin looking to be aggressive, starting to win.
I like it. In this situation where you're going for the win in the college nationals, you can't afford to be cautious. You can't afford to be reluctant. winning the pin in a sailboat race is a great way to win the race, and so I like that she's just going for it here. Looks like a general recall to me, though.
A lot of pressure right up here on the line. Some people may be over as the gun goes.
Yeah, that's a general. That's a general. Looks a little boat favored, honestly, as they come off the line. Just an angle-wise, anyway. You see Dartmouth and boat 12, they were set up right in the middle of the line. So a little more conservative start from Dartmouth there.
I think that's sort of we are seeing some nerves out here, or are we just seeing some anxious people wanting to get off the line?
I think we have some a little bit of right to left water down here by this point. Pushing boats on the starting line right to left might have something to do with it. Also, with the breeze coming up, you're seeing the breeze get people's to the line quicker, and perhaps sailors are getting used to a new time and distance, getting that dialed in. Saw a great job pre-start there from Yale's crew there in B Division. Catherine bailed her skipper out of a little tight situation. They got caught almost head to wind and down speed, and really used the jib to steer their skipper out of a tough spot.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, a lot of times it's easiest for us to refer to the skipper of the boat, but the crew of the boat in college sailing is so critical, especially at the highest level, because there's lots of downspeed maneuvers that are very challenging, and steering with your body weight, steering with the sail trim is critical. So really, the crews really should get a lot more credit than they do. So we'll try to include them in the commentary if we can.
Of course, they're powering up, and Yale had a lot of room at the pin. They really had a lot of great time and distance there. By winning the pin, they really gave themselves a nice little hole.
Yeah, I like that move. I guess the only downside would be, with this steady breeze, if you start at the pin, you're going left. You're not going to have the opportunity to work your way to the right side of the course. So you better like where you're headed. If you're just doing it, sometimes people have an area of the race course on the starting line where they always start, and they'll start there no matter what, and that can be a weakness, actually.
Yeah, I think as you saw off the line too, that last one maybe a little bit boat biased. Obviously, we didn't see how it would pan out after a minute or so. Certainly looks like Yale again and Dartmouth both hedging their bets towards the left side of the line. And of course, after a general recall, we're going to have 1 minute rule in effect. So if you're over inside a minute, there's going to be greater consequences. You're going to have to round the end. So we'll see if, as a result, oftentimes we see a little bit greater line sag in these 1 minute rule starts.
Yep, it does look like people are clumping up at the boat end, and the middle of the line is way low right now.
Looks 30 seconds. They're lining up here in the line.
Yeah.
The line looks tight.
Oh yeah, especially up at the boat.
20 seconds.
As you can see on the starting line on the boat, the line's pretty far up on the bow, so I think we're going to get a clear start off here.
Yep, 10 seconds there.
Pretty tight. We're just about to launch here in the race 15 for A Division, and they are off. Good start.
Yeah, great clean start. Good acceleration across the board, and really even start across the board.
Looks like Yale was all the way at the pin again. They're sticking with that pin start. Dartmouth sticking with the middle start. Also looks like pretty good starts there from Wisconsin in boat 6 there, and then ODU in boat 3. Also a really nice start.
Say advantage to Dartmouth if we're looking just Yale versus Dartmouth for the top spot. Advantage to Dartmouth here early.
Yeah, of course, Dartmouth in boat number 12 seems to have a good lane. They've got clear air, and they're powering out.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to leeward of Dartmouth there is Navy, Mary Hall, skippering the Navy boat. And so, definitely seems like the left side is an area of the course. And actually, we're seeing a little left shift and left pressure here. Mary's going to tack in that and duck Deirdre and head back up on the long tack there on port. Deirdre's probably thinking about tacking, it looks like, but she's going to go a little further.
Morgan really wanted that pin. She got the pin. Was it a good move?
I think it was. She looks solid to me. We got really good pressure on the left.
Boat's starting to tack over to port now.
Yeah, Dartmouth came back into the middle for one hitch and looks pretty slow right now after hitting some motorboat chop. Again, the Yale boat name, Morgan, not afraid of leverage. Pretty far out left, gonna hit ley line, and here she comes back for attack.
I like that move, and this, fairly steady breeze. You just get in the pressure, you dig into it, and then you make your move when you're good and ready. But you don't want to get stuck in the middle and get ping-ponged around.
They're definitely accelerated out of that tack. They're in good pressure now, and they look pretty good on this fleet. And the wind is up. And how are we doing here at the Windward Mark?
Well, we got a scores update before this race. This is the A race here. They're on their first downwind, but they just posted the scores after that last set of races.
15,
so Dartmouth has taken the lead in the overall over Yale. Let me get the exact scores on my phone here.
They're like up 7 or something.
Up 7? That sounds about right. Yeah. We got Dartmouth with 147. Yale with 154, and then the Navy midshipmen holding on to number 3 spot with 202. So Navy's not going to catch either of those first two teams. If you want to check those scores yourself, you can just go to scores.collegesailing.org. And there's a little donate button on there. If you're refreshing that like 700 times a day, I'm looking at the Dartmouth team. I know they're still at school right now in finals, so they're doing a lot of refreshing on tech score. Maybe donate $5. Help the ICSA out a little bit.
Hey, dig into your wallet a little and throw some down for college sailing.
And then go buy some Sperry's.
And pick up a new...
Maybe a Z420.
Yeah, exactly.
A laser or some fish would be fine too.
Yeah.
You can text or tweet to Nick Ewison and buy yourself a new boat right here from Annapolis.
And this A Division race, first around the Windward Mark was Dartmouth in boat 12. And then I believe second round was Eckerd. We had MIT up there, Navy up there, and then Yale is just right within striking distance, about 6th or 7th place on this downwind.
So Dartmouth's kind of taking care of business, so to speak. They are helping themselves by sailing well, sailing consistent, and not leaving much to chance here.
Well, they're really sailing well here in the home stretch. Couldn't have picked a better time to start stringing some top 5 finishes together. We also just got looks like a clean B division start. We'll see if that middle left again seems to work.
Yeah, in that first beat there, the boats on the left looked really good and certainly came out okay, but the far left edge kind of dropped out wind-wise, and it was really the middle left that came in. And you really got to be looking upwind right now and trying to see the pressure. If you're out here racing, you got to be looking around and figuring out where the breeze is.
The B division is off. We're going to hear from Rebecca Dellenbach shortly here on that start and get an update from her as well. Hi there, Rebecca. How was the start there of the B division fleet?
Hey guys, we started off 14B with another general recall this time, but we did see the pack in the middle getting the best start, and most of the fleets heading to the bottom left, starting to mix up with the A division fleet at the moment. Some of our top teams maybe didn't get the best starts this one, so we'll see if they can come back from that.
We'll have to check back with you as they round the gate. They're heading upwind now. Looks like the entire fleet went off to the left.
Yeah, except for...
looks like it. I think we see maybe a little better pressure over there, and maybe they're seeing the same thing that we do.
Well, we've got as they come down to the gate, Becca, you're going to start to see the leaders of the A division. Tell us what you're seeing.
Yeah, looks like Stanford and Yale looking pretty good coming into this gate. That's Dartmouth. And it looks like they're choosing the left gate looking upwind, and maybe they like this pressure on the left that we're seeing too.
Sounds good, Becca. Thanks for the update. We'll be back to you shortly.
Okay.
So in this, we're looking at the gate. You can see a lot of traffic management for these girls to deal with. Looks like most are getting around clean, though.
It's getting a little light right now. We've got a little light spot at this leeward mark. Better breeze coming down, though, up the race course. And Dartmouth in the lead of this A Division race in boat 12. Yale is in about 5th in boat 11, so not too far behind. These teams, they're going to make it really hard on each other all the way to the very end. So I'm excited to see the finish.
Although Dartmouth in B Division in the Sperry sails got flushed to the right early and had to tack on the starboard when most of the fleet is on port.
They're taking a lot of sterns.
Yeah, they're taking a lot of sterns, and I think that they're just a little bit out of phase, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them in the bottom third rounding Mark 1. So they got their work cut out for them to keep this lead.
Of course, Navy didn't look too strong there here at the gate. They went around the other gate, and they're heading out towards the right, maybe hoping for a little wind shift.
Yeah, Navy's got a pretty solid lock on third place. I shouldn't say lock on third place, but they're solidly in third overall. We're seeing Bowdoin in boat 13 here, approaching the leeward mark. And, you know, this is a really tough fleet. Bowdoin has had a great regatta, really, in my opinion, sailing really strongly. But if you don't sail an awesome race, you're going to end up towards the back of the fleet. So it's really important that they just keep battling and try to catch a couple boats here. Every single point counts.
A little more boat traffic here on a Friday in Annapolis. We're seeing a little more chop, some Trumpies and sport fishers coming through. It's a challenging venue already to sail in, and then when you add on top of that some big wake coming through, it can make it really challenging, and you know, you got to be strong in your head to battle through some of the things you can't control.
We had a race, first race of the day was abandoned, wasn't it? Due to a big boat coming right down through the center of the course?
Yeah, that was too bad, because it was actually a pretty good race. We had good breeze, and that humongous, I mean, it must have been 100-something foot mega yacht just came charging right through, and it didn't run into anybody. You know, nobody was hurt or injured, but it certainly screwed up their wind a little bit, so it wasn't a very good race. They called that one off.
Well, we know that's how you came in this morning, John, and arrived in style.
The Majestic.
Always, always. You bet. That's how I'm going to get down to the old team race champs this weekend.
Little cruise down to Chesapeake here this weekend. We're looking forward to tomorrow and Sunday and Monday the team championships down at St. Mary's College.
Yeah, no secret. It's probably John and I's what we're most excited about. Definitely a really fun championship to watch, and we're excited to be able to provide live footage of that. It's definitely the little more of a boxing match, one-on-one racing, and you know, some rapid-fire 8-minute races. It should be a great show.
Of course, I'm going to get an education in team racing from the two of you. I'm looking forward to that.
You got it. Yeah, you can expect us to get probably a little bit technical at times, but I think it's better to use the proper terminology and try to, show the complexities of team racing. But, you know, here, this fleet racing format, 18 teams. Each team has, one boat in A Division and one boat in B Division. Each boat has 2 people in it. So it's really 4 sailors out here representing their teams, but I know there's most college sailing teams are somewhere between 20 and 40 people, and it really is a team effort to be successful. So I know that all the fans at home and teammates are cheering their teams on. You can see the Sperry Topsider blue sails. That's the B Division. After their first windward mark rounding there, it looks like a really tight pack. So I'll be curious to see who's coming out ahead there in the B Division. I believe I see boat 15, 12. I'll have to get the binoculars out.
You've got pretty good eyes there, John. It's a beautiful day down here in Annapolis. What a great tribute to sailing to see so many boats from some of the best colleges in the country out here battling it out. That's quite a scene. That's a lot of boats.
Definitely.
It's beautiful.
I'm going to pull up the rotation so we can have a better idea.
So for B Division and the blue sails here, this is their first downwind of the race. This is they're also a race behind, so this is race 14B, whereas A Division is on 15 here. So B Division has a little bit more racing left to do, and is certainly just as competitive as A Division.
Certainly looks competitive. Boat 15 out in front, followed by boat 12 and boat 4.
I believe that's MIT out in front in 15.
Yeah, you're right.
Followed by Yale in 12 and Old Dominion in 4. So I think those are your top 3 right now.
Of course, we were talking earlier that MIT B Division boat has been on fire down here these last 4 days.
Yeah, they've been doing really, really well. They've had a great year. MIT has had an awesome year in women's competition, and you know, it's nice to see that when you come to nationals, you really want to put your best performance forward, and it's nice to be able to do that. Couple of boats heading down now on wing to come back down towards the gate mark. We're looking pretty much from directly below the leeward gate for the blue sails here. So, you know, it's important to sail a straight line. You'll see a fair number of boats that have sailed far off to our left side looking upwind here, and the only reason they're doing that is to keep clear wind. You don't want to sail in dirty and disturbed wind. So you'll see the leaders there, 15, 12, 4. They've sailed way over to this side of the course, and they may sacrifice some distance on the boats behind.
Looks like we have I noticed with these sails in the past, and this light stuff, you can get your compression batten inverted. I'm seeing multiple boats out here, boat 17 sailing with their batten inverted, boat 12, even though they're winning the race, are using about 1/3 of their mainsail.
Yeah.
It's challenging. You get so focused on what's in front of you, you forget to look at your gas pedal above you. Boat 9, compression batten inverted.
Yeah.
Especially, it takes really good boat handling to get that thing flowing for you the right direction. So if you have a little bit of miscommunication between the skipper and crew, you come out of a transition without your full main working for you. So these girls have to stay on it, stay focused.
Yeah, that may be, you know, something to do with the 4-day format here, right? You know, they've been sailing for 3.5 days at this point. They still have a couple hours of racing left, and you know, your brain starts to get a little fried. It's really great if you're an experienced team. You can kind of put it on autopilot, so to speak, and perform just based on instinct. And sometimes you'll see people slip up at the end of a regatta and start making some silly mistakes.
Of course, It's always about the basics in sailing, always, and even some of the best sailors will miss some of the simplest things.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, they're used to sailing two-day regattas on the weekends, so they're getting asked now to sail 4 days in a row, which is a big task. Sailing is one of those few sports where your competitions are actually could be 2 or 3 times longer than your training days. You know,
here we are at the bottom gate of this race. MIT around first.
Yeah, what a great regatta they're having.
Yale is, again, doing it here in the B Division, helping out their teammates up in the A Division.
Dartmouth's still back. I'd say Yale's going to put a good 10 points on them right now, at least right now. They're coming in boat 11, and they look like they are in a dead spot for sure.
Yeah, boats 15 and boat 12, MIT and Yale, just to give the players there. And MIT, we have Hannah Vincent, she's a senior. And then we have Lisa Sasaki Cheyenne. I'm sure I butchered that, I apologize. And then they're in second place overall in B Division. And then Marlena Fowler is the Yale skipper, and she right now is sailing with Charlotte Belling. Nice job by those sailors.
So we're right in the middle of all the action here. We're at the bottom of the gate. We could be in the middle of the finish.
Yeah, A Division's coming down. They're going to be finishing shortly here, and we certainly don't want to interfere with that. I think we'll just go off to the side here.
Not only are we live, we might even get on one of these boats.
Thanks, obviously, to our midshipmen volunteers that are driving us around and helping all over the place for this regatta. It's not a small task to run a national championship, and about every 7 years it seems like the Naval Academy puts their name in the hat and always do a great job.
It's nice to be here with a great facility. We're coming down to the final, coming down to the finish for the A fleet.
Yeah, why don't we switch over to the finish here on A, which we're just to windward of the finish line. Get reset here. You can see boat 12 in a moment here. Boat 12 is Dartmouth. They're winning another A Division race. I believe this is their third win in a row. So the Dartmouth Big Green really killing it in A Division. We already knew that, but I'm still impressed.
Very consistent sailing. Well done. Who's rounding out here? The top 3, top 4.
Looks like we have Charleston in boat 15 and Eckerd in boat 17. So a couple of the South Atlantic Conference ICSA teams.
John, is it too early to talk about Women's Sailor of the Year?
I don't think there's much to talk about.
No?
After this performance, no. I mean, I don't want to jinx it, but I think if you just look at the A Division results from this regatta, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. It always seems like if it's a tie, performance at a national championship certainly breaks the tie and is pretty heavily weighted in that kind of competition.
Absolutely.
You can definitely tell it's a competitive fleet. They're all stacked right in here, finishing one behind the other. This the 15th race of the national championships of the A Division.
So
can we go talk to Dartmouth?
I think so.
Looks like Navy ends up with the keeper. They were struggling earlier, but they turned it into a single digit perhaps.
Yep. I mean, consistency is everything, so it's easy to focus on the races where you get first, second, and third. But it's really the races where you come back from 15th and you get 10th. Those are the ones that make the biggest difference. So we're seeing the boats. They've already finished here. They're coming down to the seawall to check in with their coaches and their teammates, grab a little drink, a little snack. Try to stay hydrated on these long days is always a challenge. But then they'll be back in action before we know it. So just a quick break here for the A Division sailors. Beautiful Trident Point here at the Naval Academy.
I'm going to pop off. You keep going. I'm going to get the plug.
Looks like we're going to do a little hot swap here on the dock.
Hey, look at the fans, everybody.
Yeah. Let's see if we can get a little cheer. Nick, you want to try to rally him up a little bit here?
I don't want to scream into my microphone. I might blow out somebody's computer at home.
That's a good point.
I have a loud voice that travels.
Yeah. It'd be funny if they did like the wave or something. You guys are on TV. Woo! Give us a cheer. Let's get a little cheer. Woo! Yeah, there we go. Look at the brown bears. They're doing it.
Got
yeah,
some spirit.
Woo! You're on the internet.
Yes. What are you guys playing? What? Presidents.
We've got the Fearless Shore Crews over here. They do an important job too. You know, it looks relaxing, but they're here to.
That's BC. They are not gambling right now. They're just.
Boy, they didn't give that A Division much time for that switch, did they?
No, I don't.
Went right back into sequence. That was hardly enough time to even talk to your coach.
I only think about a handful of coaches got to say anything.
So clearly the race committee is on a mission to get these races off as fast as possible. I still think they should get B Division caught up, maybe give A Division a prolonged break, get B caught up before the last set, but that's just me.
We don't have Dan.
He's coming back. He's getting like a power cord, I think.
Breeze coming up a little bit, John.
You know, if you'd asked me probably 3 or 4 hours ago what the afternoon looked like, I think I was pretty pessimistic that we'd get any racing in, and now it's gorgeous. The more wind, the better at this point. If we got about 5 more knots, we'd have champagne conditions, but right now we've got at least raceable conditions.
Yeah. So coming up on 1 minute. Still No funny stuff from our leaders. They seem to be keeping their distance from each other. I got a feeling that's going to change a little later.
Yeah, that's always a tough decision. But you know, there's only one championship, and at some point, if you don't do everything you can do to try to get it, that's not going to be good enough. So
this will be a great angle here.
You can see the starting line between the two orange flags, between these two motorboats.
Yeah, interesting thing. I was just checking that out.
This will be a general recall here.
Looks like Georgetown there at the pin did some switching. Have a pretty cool.
A little sister act, huh? Yeah. All right, gotta love that. Sailing's a family sport. So what we have there is basically a false start, if you will. We call that a general recall in sailing, but a whole lot of boats over the starting line early, so we'll call that one back and do it again.
Yeah, I think just a big right-handed shift happens late in the sequence there, and that allows the whole fleet to easily get to the line. And again, comes down to getting your time and distance right, and with the big right-hander, everybody gets there a little early. Looks like they're going to clear out this finish to allow the FJs to come on in. That's who's going to be
so
we'll focus on next.
Switching over to the blue sails here in B division. They're going to let the A division have a little break here so that it's not too crowded. You wouldn't want to have one fleet starting on the starting line, the other fleet finishing at the same time. That would be messy. So we'll watch this finish downwind. Looks like most of the boats are on a port tack, two sail, we call that. Two sail reach, broad reaching. And
what race are we on there in B division?
I believe this is 14B.
14B, all right. Just trying to see who's where. It's like ODU doing quite well in boat 4.
They've had a couple good races today, I think.
Yeah.
Nice job by the Monarchs. They had a strong team all year. Really, really excellent women's program down there. Of course, Anna Tunnicliffe is one of their famous alums, gold medalist. I actually watched her last weekend at the CrossFit Games. She's now kind of a professional CrossFit athlete, and it was extremely impressive. So, Anna, if you're listening, you are really fit.
Better her than me.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, I don't know if this is a pet peeve of mine. I think it is.
It is. The battens, huh?
Darn battens.
These sails, I have to say, this cut of sail, it's a little hard to get it to stay. So I've been there. We have that problem with my team that I coach. But it's something, it's just attention to detail. You got to be looking up.
Hello? Copy. Picking up Dan again, same spot.
You get the finish first. Yeah, why don't we get the finish first?
We'll stick around for the finish.
Looks like
then pick up our comrade.
Now, I would note in B division here on the far side of the course is boat 11. That's Dartmouth, the current regatta leader. And they were pretty deep at the leeward mark. I think they were back in about 13th or 14th place. And by my eye, they're back to about 5th or 6th. So that's huge.
This will be a tight finish. Again, another testament of how close this racing is. We look from start to the leaders to the people who get last. It's going to be inside of a minute between 1st and 18th, and that's after 2 laps of the course. So really tight racing. ODU gets the win, followed by MIT.
That was a photo finish. I mean, that was within a foot or two. Yale gets 3rd there, huh? I think Dartmouth came back to 4th, actually.
Big comeback for them.
That is massive.
Big comeback.
You know, those 7 or 8 points that they just recovered on that second lap of the course could be the difference. And then just behind we have Brown, Stanford in boat 17. Coast Guard in 6.
Coast Guard and Bowdoin in 14. So no huge shakeups here.
Now URI there in boat 3, and Nick, you were saying, was it 2 years ago that URI won the national championships? 3 years ago?
3 years ago, yeah.
I believe that was when that sailor was a freshman.
Chanel was a freshman, and you often see that in these championships, a freshman coming onto the scene and really dominating, especially B division sometimes. Although this year we mentioned it before, but some great performances out of freshmen in A division with Rachel Breyer from URI and Nicole Barnes at Coast Guard.
And just to reiterate how tight this fleet is, the last 3 teams in that race, that B division race, were College of Charleston, Boston College, and Georgetown, which are perennially, top teams in the country. And so this racing is really tough right now.
Man, and no rest from the race committee either. They're full court press here.
Full court press, indeed. There's the starting horns for A division. I think we're heading back over to the rotation area to pick up a team member. You can see the fans, parents. There we go. Stanford's got a little pride. They're getting after it. I think that must be the Stanford team race team. We're going to be doing a lot of watching those guys the next couple days, Nick.
Yeah.
Hope we've been studying.
Yeah.
I don't even know. There's so many. They have like 7 full team race teams on the Stanford team, so I don't even keep track of all the players.
It's going to be a challenge. Early favorites?
Potentially.
Yeah.
Certainly in the mix. There's no doubt about that. But as you can see, the B Division sailors are coming down here and talking to their coaches. Where is Dan?
Impossible. We're really putting a test to our freshman midshipmen here. This boat weighs about 1/2 ton.
She'll be piloting a destroyer before we know it. So, doing a nice job, Molly. Keep it up.
All right. Maybe we...
All right, turning, looking upwind, you can see the 420s are getting set up. That's A Division.
"30 seconds.
Definitely favoring the boat hand end of this starting line. Yeah, it looks to be boat favored. It looked boat favored on that last finish as well, so I think maybe the breeze has ticked left a little bit. Or sorry, right. Breeze has gone right in the last couple minutes, and boat end's a little more favored.
Good perspective here. You can see the bow handling it takes to get off the line with pace. Good accelerations out of
Now what's going
Mary
on there?
Hall, and
We've got one boat way out in front.
yeah, it looks like they might have called it off with this big right-hander. I think we're in
okay,
post-forward.
yeah, that would make sense. So this start may be a moot point. Looks like people are luffing the sails. I always like to keep going upwind for a little while after those, just to stay warmed up.
Yeah.
You've been doing a lot of waiting between races, and looks like a few teams. Erica Reineke there in boat 8 for Boston College, just kind of sailing upwind, staying in phase with the breeze. Here we got sailors from Coast Guard Academy.
They look like they wanted an interview. They were coming over for an interview, I thought.
Some waves here. Well, it's pretty cool to be out here live watching this exciting day of racing. You know, it's a battle for the top position, but it's really a battle all the way through the fleet. And we got some sunshine, we got some pretty decent breeze.
Yeah, these people, everybody cares where they're going to
Absolutely.
end up. So
Yeah,
you got little rivalries among the different teams, and you know, no one wants to see their crosstown rival beat them at the big dance. So
yeah, and if you're a senior, you definitely want your last couple of races of college sailing to be successful.
didn't seem like they adjusted much after that abandonment. At least I didn't see anything.
Yeah,
so.
I agree. I wonder if maybe
maybe it was the Windward Marsh
or the horn box maybe stopped working.
A lot of moving parts around a sailboat race.
Sure is. We're lucky to have Gary Bodie, who has done all sorts of stuff within the world of sailing. U.S. sailing team head coach for a long time, head coach at the Naval Academy here for a long time. He's the PRO. So Gary Bodie's running the show. And he knows his stuff, so he's going to call it the way he sees it, and nobody's going to really second guess him. Still seeing a lot of right angle, though.
That said, it seems
That said, I think Gary should move the pin. Easier said than done. They do have a 1-minute rule flag going right now, the I flag, so penalty for being over early and having to go back is going to be a little bit steeper.
Minute 30 seconds. Right about now, you're gonna start to get a feel for where people kind of wanna start. And this fairly light conditions, where you are at a minute 30 seconds, does indeed matter, because it's hard to change things late in the sequence.
Seeing some motorboat chop coming through the starting area too. That's always doubles the challenge. You know, you're trying to manage your speed, manage your positioning, and then a wake comes storming through the course and bounces you around, and it really puts a premium on excellent boat handling.
They are getting, there's some chops and things rolling right through the center there.
Yeah.
Boat's getting bounced. Who's going for the pin?
Yeah, that's Rachel Breyer for URI and Katie Norton down there at the pin in a strong place. You'll see they match 13's angle the whole time. They're definitely playing for keeps down here at the pin. Here comes 13, going to make a move to leeward of them, and looks like they're successful in getting it. They're in control of boat, and although they gave a lot to URI, came in through the leeward and gave them some space, playing nicely.
Yeah, it looked like we have some boats over early.
$15, $6, $9 are boats I heard.
Yep. Oh, they're going to go with the general.
What an exciting start.
General recall.
They're going to bring them back here in the 16th race. Pressure's on.
What do you think,
So with
John?
the black flag, with that, what's that mean? That everybody escapes?
We have no black flag in college sailing.
Right,
So
okay.
they had the I flag
The I
there.
flag.
That, you know, those boats that were called over early, if it was just an individual recall, they were going to have to round the end of the starting line to restart.
But they lucked out a little bit.
They lucked out. I think Gary Bodie, our PRO, if he can't call it perfectly and catch every boat, he's going to call it that. You see different philosophies with that. I think he's of that school. You know, there's also the Ken Legler school of you never do a general recall ever, and you just call every single boat over early. But it's hard to call them all right, and you sure don't want to mess it up and have that decide the national championship.
So of course here,
We're switching to the FJs.
as we get later into these rounds, it's kind of nice that they're going with that flavor of racing.
And I just heard Gary yell FJ, so we're going to switch over to B division here, and that way we'll get back in sequence with B division the same number of races as A division. B division had been in a race behind, so maybe we'll get to follow the B race here and watch the blue sails. We haven't really seen the B fleet up close yet, so let's check that out.
Yeah, that'll be good. So what do you think, John? You think that's these general recalls, is that end of the regatta antsiness? Is it breeze coming up? Do we have some water movement? All of the above?
I think I think the breeze has gone right a little bit, so it's easier to get pushed over while you're luffing on the line. I think also a lot of teams maybe feel that they don't have a whole lot to lose at this point, and they want those good races to finish out. So you often see a little uptick in the aggressiveness at the end of a regatta.
Yeah, well, the people are getting aggressive here, and of course we're checking in with Rebecca Delabar on the pin boat, getting ready for the B start. Rebecca.
Hey Sam, so A division looks a little too jumpy, and we're putting B division in for race 15B here. A few things to note from that last set. The ODU B division had a 1-1. Dartmouth A division also had a 1-1. So some teams are really making strong showings today, and the looks like the third through fifth places are all very, very tight right now. That's sort of an exciting race, maybe a 7-point sprint.
The middle of the pack kind of consolidating and vying it out for the podium. We are seeing some consistent sailing, and we're putting the pressure on some of these leaders.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, obviously the two leaders are fairly launched, but they're within 10 points of each other, and plenty of racing left to go today when this wind holds up.
And as they're lining up, what are you looking? You're looking right down the line at the start of the B. What do you see, Becca?
30 seconds left, and they seem to be liking the boat end still.
Got some pretty gnarly chop coming in here right now. It's going to be
Navy
tough.
special.
Yeah, going to be tough to get the boat going.
Yeah. If you're on your computer at home, you're probably going to feel like you're on a boat for a second, because that video is going to be bouncing all over the place.
Thanks, Becca.
Don't get seasick. Of course, we're breaking records with viewers back home, so tell your friends, log on. We've cracked 100 viewers,
Right.
and